This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Virginia McConnell.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you in need of a yoga studio? One might be closer than you think. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you our good neighbor, Christina Ammenti, with Siesta Pilates. How's it going?
That's going good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. We're excited to learn all about you and your business. Tell us about your company.
Well, we don't do a whole lot of yoga, but we do Pilates. We are a reformer studio in the village, in Siesta Village, and we have 6 reformers. They are a balanced body, and they're the Allegro 2s, and we only do reformer classes at the studio, but we also do beach mat classes. So if you wanted to do some beach Pilates, which is similar to yoga. So a lot of people don't know the difference between mat Pilates and yoga. So they are similar. So you're doing body weight exercises and you are doing, kind of stretching and strengthening at the same time. The difference, I would say, is that Pilates is a lot more core focused and less stretching focused. So every exercise is really deep core related. And the more you put into it, definitely the more you get back out. When you're on the reformer in the studio, you get resistance, which you don't get in a mat class. So if you don't know what a reformer is, it's a lot of people describe it. They say it looks like a torture machine because there's straps and pulleys. Have you seen a reformer? Do you know what it looks like?
No, I don't.
Okay, so some people call it like a bed. So they're a little bit taller, like long-wise than a person lying down. And then there's a frame and a carriage on it. And you would lie down or stand or kneel or sit on the carriage. The carriage is the moving portion. And then there's springs attached. So the spring is like the resistance. So if you've ever used like a resistance band, a lot of times the different colors mean a different, strength of resistance. And it's similar how our springs are color coded. So we don't actually know like a weight. So you can't say, a red spring is 40 pounds. We don't know that. But there's, heavier and lighter spring load. And you put on the springs and you can have certain resistance. The carriage also creates, instability, which, is going to work your stabilizers in a really cool way. I'm kind of obsessed with stabilization work, which is different than balance work. There's balance too, but it's different. And then, it's a lot of, spinal, like making sure that you're creating space for your vertebra and you're supporting your spine and, you're strengthening your core, posture exercises. The way that I teach Pilates is not a traditional way. So I've created kind of my own style of Pilates, and similar to yoga, and you might be more experienced with this, and I think a lot of people are. If you go to different yoga studios, you're going to come across different styles of yoga, and you've probably heard of like, hatha flow or power, vinyasa, or, warm yin, whatever. Usually there's not so many names for Pilates, but I've created something called Power Pilates. So that's our signature class. And it is definitely a contemporary athletic style of Pilates. So a lot of folks coming in who have done Pilates elsewhere will find that this is different than what they've normally done. It is I call it more up. So in traditional Pilates, you spend a lot of time lying down. And the stabilization that you're doing is more of like stabilizing, the pelvis in that lying down position. We are very rarely lying down, so that you are working more muscles, and you are, burning more calories. So it's definitely a challenging workout. I like to say that people are going to leave feeling challenged but empowered. It's not going to be for everybody, our power Pilates, but our classes are one size fits most. So we are all levels. So all of our classes are all levels. So that's something different from other studios as well. So all of our moves offer modifications to make it more manageable and progressions to make it more challenging. And then from there, if you need help, there's only 6 reformers. So there's always going to be, your instructor there to help you with whatever you might need. And then we do have one class that's going to be a lot more soothing, and that's our stretch class. So if the power Pilates is not for you, we do have an offering for something that is going to be more mellow. So that's definitely popular with the men too, because they tend to be very in needing of stretch. So yeah, that's pretty much our studio. But I could talk all day about the power Pilates and the stabilization and the workout. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to go into that and answer them.
I actually want to know how you got into this business.
Okay, so I was a massage therapist, and I was doing massage for many years, and my body was not doing so well. I had bursitis in my shoulder, tendonitis in my elbow, and I was beginning to get carpal tunnel. So I needed to make a switch in careers that was going to be utilizing my knowledge of the body. Also, when I was doing massage, it was very intuitive, and I found that that's transitioned well also to the Pilates training. So I ended up, doing a course in training. The Pilates training is pretty intensive. So it was 6 months for just the reformer training, and also 6 months to do the mat training. So it's not like a weekend training like some of the other fitness modalities that are out there. So there's a lot of anatomy and talking about the different chains, the posterior chain, and we definitely get like into the nitty gritty. So it worked really well with my knowledge I already had of the body. So that was back in 2013. So it's been a while. Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good transition into
Yeah.
Pilates.
Yeah. And so that was right when I moved to Florida. So there was a lot of new stuff all at once. So I said, as soon as I was as good at doing Pilates as I was at massage, that I would open up my own place. And that's what I did. So I never really planned on opening a place in Siesta Key, but I saw this spot in the village and I thought it was perfect. And there was no group fitness at the time on the Key. Everything was, you'd have to drive over the bridge. So yeah, it's been really good. And we are 2.5 years in, and we've got a great clientele and a great community. And I really love the energy in our studio. Really good people are coming in. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So what are some myths or misconceptions about your industry?
Well, like you started with the yoga, a lot of people think it's the same thing or similar, or they might have heard about reformer yoga and they only know about reformer, or vice versa. They only know about mat and they don't know about reformer. And so they're always really surprised that there's other forms, or even, I might talk about apparatus and they go, what's that? Because there's all these other tools that I haven't even mentioned that we don't have a lot of in our studio, but in a more traditional Pilates studio, you're going to see all these apparatus like the Cadillac and the tower and the chair. And so there's all these different ways to do Pilates that people don't realize. The other thing that I think really blows people's minds is that I think people really like to use the equipment and they don't realize that Joseph Pilates, the creator, actually made the equipment as an assistant to be able to get you to do the mat. So the mat is the ultimate. So people think mat is like basic. And perhaps even boring, but the mat is the ultimate. So you're supposed to be doing the apparatus or the reformer to be able to get to the point to be able to do the mat. And I think that is really surprising for people.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Okay, and we know that marketing is the heart of every business. How do you attract your customers, and what is your target customer?
Well, I would say most of our customers come because they have Googled Pilates and, Pilates near me or Pilates Siesta Key. And that's pretty much why I named the business Siesta Key Pilates, so that it would be very Googleable. I had a lot of cooler names that I had thought of. But this is what I thought would work best. And so a lot of Google searches, and then that brings them to the website. Everything is on the website. So all of your booking is done through the website. All the information about pricing, everything that you need to know is on the website. So the Google search is going to bring you right there. And then the other thing that I hear most often is that people are just walking by and they see us. So, we're right in the village. So people are walking through the village and they walk by and they see Pilates and, they either come up to see what's going on, or they, from there they Google us or whatever. So that's what I hear most of. We're certainly, we've got our social media presence, and we've tried some, meta ads, and we did some Class Pass, which that's a whole nother story. So we've tried some things, but I would say for us, word of mouth and just kind of being there on the key is doing well for us. We've got 5-star review on Google. People love us. We love them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So marketing, like you said, it's a big deal. I don't think we have quite found something that has worked other than what I've mentioned.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about having your own podcast?
No, I haven't, but I am starting a streaming service. So that is in the works.
Okay.
My plan was to release it after Easter. I'm a little behind, which is irritating because I'm very goal oriented. So the streaming service is going to be a library of videos of mat and reformer videos. So many of our clients are seasonal. They don't like to be called snowbirds.
Yeah.
Seasonal clients, and they go back up north. And what I keep hearing is that they cannot find a workout. Like I said, I created this style of Pilates. So they can't find anything similar. So they come back and they say, I looked and I can't find anything. And I give them recommendations. I say, Google contemporary Pilates, athletic Pilates. You don't want anything classical if you like what I'm doing. But they still are struggling to find, something comparable. So that's the plan, is to be able to, for my Northerners to be able to take me with them back home. So some of them have reformers, some of them are willing to get reformers, and some of them would be taking the mat classes that I'd be doing on the streaming service. So I feel like there's a lot of excitement about the streaming service. I'm definitely excited about it. That's my big project that I'm working on. We are in season, so I'm very busy. So trying to create this at the same time is difficult. By the end of summer, I should have a large library of videos because summer is not so busy. But right now, it's a little tough to get that released.
Well, congratulations. That's super exciting.
Thank you.
Really yeah. Okay, Christina, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about Siesta Key Pilates.
One thing they should remember, they should come to the studio and try a class. We have a promotion for your first time. So it's on the website. Everything's on the website. But it's 50% off your first class. So there's a promo code. It is first class. So you're going to want to enter that in. Give us a try. See if it's for you. But so far, everybody likes it. So like I said, it's one it fits most bodies, right? So, and it's a great community, and we really support each other, and it's a great place to meet friends too.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you just kind of said it, but can you say again, how can our listeners learn more about Siesta Key Pilates?
SiestaKeyPilates.com.
Okay, that's easy enough.
I make it really easy, very memorable. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Christina, I really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsarasota.com. That's gnpsarasota.com or call 941-949-1865.